All right. Hello, hello. We have a very special guest with us, Raeanna Layfield. She heralds from the Chilliwack area, and she is the proprietor of foragingwithyou.ca. So she's based out of BC, and she takes people on plant walks. As the name suggests, she will go foraging with you. She's the author of the book, Forage and Eat with the Seasons. Look at that beautiful book. Nice hardcover. I know there's also soft cover available as well. And yeah, really excited to have you on and have a chat and hear from you and your experience and get a view into your world of foraging. Welcome, Raeanna.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Malcolm, for having me. Such a beautiful introduction and yeah, intro to my book. The World of Foraging. How exciting. Um, Leaning on my book, maybe it is all the proper layouts and instructional things for the new or urban forager of what you guys focus on in your guys' group there. So it's chaptered with the seasons because of course, right, foraging is all about being in tune with the seasons and our inner season, of course, too, when we see how nature can kind of reflect in. So I'm just here in BC right now, really enjoying the elderflowers that are coming up. I need to get out there and get some. We had rain the other day, so I was waiting for the afternoon today for them to open up and give me some more pollen, and then I'm going to go out and I make a elderflower lemonade, and so that's my favorite go-to with them in the spring.
Awesome. Yeah, we're so jealous of you in BC. Here in Alberta, we got some amazing, wonderful plants we're so appreciative of, but just looking to BC, you're always ahead and there's more and more diversity. And yeah, we just don't see the elderflower here. We have a red elder that is native to the area, but it just does not
Alert for updates available.
aroma or qualities as the elder that grows around you.
Okay, okay. And so we're a little more ahead, hey? I guess so. I'm so much closer to the ocean too. Okay, so you guys are still in your bark and different types of foraging right now as we are already in like flowers or blooming kind of season. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was picking nettles from my garden yesterday, but that's the garden, right? Like if we were to go out to the wild out in the Kananaskis, I can guarantee you they are not up yet.
Oh, okay, okay, cool. And then of course you guys probably have the dandelion all growing in town already.
No, I mean, yes and no. Like you might be able to find the odd flower, but just leaves first and very small still.
Okay, okay. Well, the leaves are, yeah, I always was like, oh, I'm so scared of the dandelion leaves. They're bitter. And of course, we know that's so good for our digestion. But I picked them, obviously, you pick them before the flowers actually open and come up, and they're not that bitter at all. They're so delightful. I put a little wild herb vinaigrette on them, and I had them with some roasted duck, and that earthy, that little tiny bit of like bitterness just complemented so well. So they really do have a place as much as our society overlooks the dandelion.
Yeah, totally. So I'm curious, how did you get into this path? You're obviously very knowledgeable at foraging. You're an expert. You guide people. You've written a book on it. Were you raised in the backwoods, or what? Tell us a little bit about your history and how you came to be who you are today.
Okay, okay. Thanks, Malcolm. So I guess unlike a lot of the herbal community, and that's where I know you from, my parents were definitely not herbalists. They were hunters though. So I did grow up meat foraging, and I would go bear hunting, falling asleep on the back of the quad, and we'd go moose hunting, and just like a very northern type of life. And of course, we'd pick Saskatoons and some different types of berries, right? But there was no like herbal knowledge, lots of gardening, of course, kind of homestead stuff, but nothing foraging, especially the wild mushroom realm, never like came to me until I was in like my second year of culinary arts school. I was apprenticing at Long Beach Lodge in Tofino, BC. And I was all of a sudden cleaning these golden chanterelles. And I'm like, oh
Mm.
my goodness, these are gorgeous. Where did these come from? And then I learned they're just in the forest over there. So, someone was able to take me out and teach me. Unfortunately, that was the very first time I ever got lost as well in the forest. So I was dependent on somebody else. So I try to make sure in all my workshops that I teach people, have at least three things, right? You can have an online GPS or a Garmin. Use a compass, like get comfortable with that and tell somebody where you're going out foraging or what hike you're doing, just so they know, like if you don't show up back or send that message that they know where to go, right?
Yeah, it's so funny you mentioned about getting lost mushroom foraging. Distinctly I can remember this one time. It was the most incredible morel mushroom harvest. Again, perfect conditions in the spring, right after the first year after a forest fire, and we just got so excited. Right, it was like, oh, here, this one, and we just kept following the little just the mushrooms, right? And then all of a sudden we're like, whoa, where are we? Right, we just got too into the activity, and just everywhere it looked the same. It was just all burnt forest, and fortunately we kind of still had our wits about us. We could navigate our way back, but it just gave me that pause of like, whoa, okay, like be more mindful next time. It's fun activity, we're doing good, but I love those tips that you've just offered there.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, especially those the burn site morels. You really get turned around in that forest. Everything looks the same. Yeah.
Yeah, you might, I know there's tips. It's like, okay, moss only grows on this side of the tree. Well, that doesn't help when the trees are scorched and the ground is all burnt up.
Yeah, everything's
Yeah.
black and you're probably out of water or whatever, right? Carrying your bucket around, just trying to fill your bucket or two. Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's really what got me into the world of foraging. And then I think it was maybe 2 or 3 years after Tofino that I was working at a heli ski lodge, northern BC in Stewart. And I left that season and went morel picking all spring, moved into my vehicle and went and chased the morels all over BC and went up to the Yukon where they got bigger and better up there. So that was really cool, and attended some markets just to like trade your morels or move forward that way with your forage. Yeah, and then after that, it's just been deep, deep, deep self-study into all the herbs and the plants. And now, like, what was it, 4 years ago now, I found the herb conference, and it's just like when I'm able to explain to people what I found, it is so fulfilling. I'm like, it's just such this lovely time and this lovely community to be with, like to be with such plant people and people who are into, even if they're not big foragers or mushroom people, it's just so neat to connect and be in the herbal community like that.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, for sure. Well, I want to kind of fast forward to what you do and what you offer kind of right now. I mean, so I mentioned you're in the Chilliwack area. I'm gonna kind of imagine maybe a little bit similar to me. You're taking folks who are fairly new, fairly green. Although I'm sure you must get kind of a spectrum as well. And you go foraging with them. Tell us a
Yeah,
little bit about that.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. So that's, as we know, one of the best ways to learn is with a hands-on person and holding and tasting and being with that plant essence. So I offer a seasonal, of course, we can do this in all the different seasons that we have because there's something different to forage for. A seasonal 2-hour foraging tour. So on my walk, obviously we learn how to identify how to harvest and then how to bring those items home and either cook or work with them medicinally. And I serve a wild food snack and a wild herbal tea. I set up a little blanket and we have a little picnic so we can connect to wild food even more. Because what I want to do is help people to support their home food culture, right? Really
Mhm.
leaning on that, like food is medicine. And so if we can start to eat and include these things in our grocery list instead of going to the grocery store, we're also going to save ourselves money and we're going to add and just nutrient densify our digestive system.
Yeah, totally. All right. Okay. So this next one is kind of a two-pronged question. And this can be something off the top of your head, or maybe something that you kind of incorporate regularly as you take clients out. So two sides of the coin here. What do you teach people about maybe the, sustainability side of it, the kind of I want to say maybe like a, a caution in regards to, harvesting and that kind of thing. And then on the flip side, after that, or you can pick the order, what's the opportunity? What's the abundance, that's out there, that maybe even a forager, who's dipping their toes already, that might not be kind of aware of or taking advantage of. If that makes sense.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah. So sustainability, obviously a big part of it because there's a lot of humans, there's a lot of plants too, but if we make sure to learn how to harvest them sustainably, they can be obviously sustainable and continue. So a beginner forager, like you mentioned, nettles earlier, that's a great one for people to start and to get out and find. And nettles are usually quite abundant, although they can for sure be overpicked. We've heard lots of stories. So when I teach my clients how to harvest nettles, we only take those top two or those top little four leaves so that we can learn to farm, not just forage our nettle spots, right? So now we're becoming farming. And then once we take that one top, we have two more tops that start to come out. So maybe I'm going to return back to this spot and I can forage it again and I'll have fresh tips of leaves to cook and eat with. Or maybe I'm just going to let it grow out and then we'll get even more seeds in the summer and then those can spread around. And
Yeah.
so, yeah. And then of course, like when finding your foraging spots, like you don't, if there's just a little bit there, maybe you're going to leave that and just keep searching for a larger producing area where it won't be such a detrimental impact to the environment if you take enough to feed yourself and the rest of your family, right? And then of course, working with like the rule of five, if there's five of something, maybe we just take two or three, right? Especially when it comes to fiddleheads, they only have so many prawn ferns that come out. And there can be four fiddleheads there ready to be picked, but we're not going to take them all, even though more will grow. So we just grab two or three like this.
Cool. No, I love that. Yeah, I do the same with the nettles as well. Just picking those tops, and it's great. It's like mint. They just fork out and they start to grow even more. So cool. Do you grow any of these plants in your yard? Or do you have a green thumb? Have you started to incorporate that in as well?
Yeah, for sure. And the Herb Conference has been great for that to get some of just nice sources for seeds and started plants already. So now I'm on my third year growth of purple elderflower berry because yeah, in
Mm.
the valley we just have the red elderflower berry. And so now, yeah, I want the purple berries for my cough syrup. So I've started to cultivate that at home. I always teach, when I teach mullion, I'm like so emphasizing how great of a plant herb this, I guess it's invasive, people were saying now too, and I see that in the interior of BC how invasive it is, but it is so awesome. Anyway, sorry, just saying how important and awesome that is to have as a herb growing on your property, especially when the flowers are coming out in the summer and you don't have to go a far way to harvest the flowers that come out very slowly, one at two, three at a time each day, right? I can just go outside and I can pick this wild herb right into my honey. I've been infusing it now instead of sugar, which is so great for cough syrups. But yeah, I really like to emphasize on combining the foraging with the gardening, right? Like growing, yeah, having a little nettle patch on your property so you don't have to go for that drive or you don't have to, because it all is energy and takes a lot of time. And that's why we try and pick the most clean and the most sustainable. So when we get home, we don't have that much work to do. It's a lot of work, right? The worst thing is when you get home and you let a harvest go to spoil.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, picking it is just half the job, half the task. And I always emphasize, never pick anything that you don't already have like a vision for and the time for, as you mentioned as well.
Beautiful. Vision is that's beautiful. Having that intent, I'm picking this medicine to make this medicine or a variety, right? Not just, oh, I'm just picking it because it's here. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, well, one final question for you, and uh, in part, I would say my answer is growing the herbs. It's about, as you say, kind of yeah, kind of deeper your connection with it, right? So the question is, what do you do? And everyone has their own like style and way and that type of thing. If you have something to kind of like, give back, shall we say? And in some traditions, it's offering a little tobacco. I know Yara Willard, he likes to offer a little piece of hair or that type of thing. Do you have a special little ritual that you do? And if you don't, all good. Just curious to hear from another
Yeah.
forager.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I think I learned this one years ago from your companion Yarrow. And so on all my foraging tours, I always bring a tin that says thank you. It's like a little Thanksgiving themed tin. And I open it up to my clients and I say, this is what I bring every single time I go foraging. And we like to give back. We like to give back and give to the plant or just give to nature, or you can say your thanks or your prayers to whomever you want. But yeah, so I'll teach traditional tobacco, right, as gifting. I'll usually bring sage from the interior that like has fallen off my smudging stick, so we'll use that. I will personally, to my mushroom foraging spots, I'll bring little crystals and I'll hide them there in thanks and gratitude and give them to the fairies and like talk to the fairies. Yeah, and then of course when harvesting even plants on my property, even though they're you kind of feel like they're your plants, your garden, giving just a sprinkle of herbs or of gratitude. And of course, yes, when I forget to bring everything else, I have my hair. I'm like, okay, you get this today. Thank you so much for coming home with me and to work with me and be as medicine for people.
Yeah, cool. Right on. Well, I appreciate you sharing. It was just a conversation I was having with my wife the other day, and she's like, "Malcolm, I think you should really, find what that is for you." I mean, because like you said, like we both learned from Yarrow. Everyone has their own different style and approach, and sometimes, like just because you've heard of like, oh, well, you're supposed to offer tobacco, if that doesn't feel right, like just we each need to find our own way. And another herbalist I work with, Holly Jones, she brought up something I thought was actually really profound. In this day and age, we often talk about how, attention is like, like the biggest commodity, right? Like everyone's trying to seek for everyone's attention, like social media, this, that, the next. And she's like, that's what I give, among other things, right? It's her presence, her attention, and I think the plants, they really respond to that.
The detail in your leaves and look at this and like, yeah, just kind of giving the plant that moment and praise.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
Beautiful.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time today. And for anybody listening, if you are going to be in the BC area, specifically around Chilliwack, maybe you're traveling through. I know my family and I, we not every year will we get to the coast, but we always like to, whenever we can, do a little travel through. And Chilliwack is on the way. And so you can go to foragingwithyou.ca. You can learn more about Raeanna and the services she offers. And what a great opportunity to book a little tour with yourself, jump in with a group and get to know the area from somebody local, somebody expert, knowledgeable, show you the spots depending on the season. And yeah, and if you're looking to get your hands on this beautiful book, it's available on her website as well. And if you want to connect with Raeanna at some of the herb gatherings coming up, be sure to check out herbconference.com. They alternate between the Kootenays and the coast, and yeah, that's where we have met and connected before. So yeah, thank you so much. Anything kind of final parting words before we sign off here?
No, thank you so much for having me and for spreading such good information to the world of foraging and the herbal community.
Yeah, right on. Okay, well, thanks so much.
Thanks, Malcolm.